Hey everyone, it's Lindsay from My Crafty Plans. Today we are back in my functional planner and I am actually going to be showing you how I made these inserts. This is my November set of inserts. They are pretty similar to my October set, which is right here. We are almost done October, so I've got all of my monthly spreads and then my weekly spreads in here, and I have this all set up for November now, and I have filmed, including like this screen share on my computer of how I design and update these inserts, and then how I print them, cut them, and collate them together to make this little notebook that goes in here. So I thought that would be fun to share. I do get a lot of questions on insert makings. I will link all of the papers and supplies that I use in the description below, but if you have any questions, definitely let me know. And if you want to see how I make custom inserts, stay tuned. So I am just jumping right in. I am using the Silhouette software, which is usually what I use to make all of my inserts, even though I'm not cutting anything using my actual Silhouette. I just really like the software for designing everything. It makes everything really clear. Basically, as I go through the month, I make any notes about things I want to change for the next month, and then I sort of just sit down and do it all at once. So I am making some minor changes to my dashboard, and I just wanted to shorten up one of the boxes to add in a different category and make my to-do list a little bit shorter because I hadn't been using that so much. The really important thing for these inserts, and really for any inserts if you're designing them, is to make sure that they're centered how you want them to be centered. So these inserts are much larger than like a sort of standard size. There's like 6.75 by 9.75, so they're only going to fit one half of the insert, like one half of the paper per page. So I have to print them, and then I'll bind them together. So you can't print them to fold them like the way you would on like a B6 traveler's notebook. So anyway, it's really important that these are centered perfectly on the page, because otherwise they are going to be messed up when you print them. I've definitely made that mistake before. So I just kind of group everything together at the end and then center them. And then the other thing that I am doing is converting my October calendar to my November calendar, which is what I'm doing now. And then last month I accidentally had deleted off the half of the month's like word labels. I only had them at the end of the month, so I was putting them back in. Mistakes happen. Honestly, I usually just let little stuff go. You'll see later on I did make a mistake on the weekly ones, but it's not worth reprinting them if it's a minor mistake, at least in my opinion. So I don't need these to be perfect. I just need them to be good enough. So I am just converting the calendar to be the right shape. I also don't put numbers in here. I just use date dots. For me, it's just so much easier than having to like type in all of the numbers and everything. So that is what I'm doing now, and I'm just moving all of this stuff around to kind of reshape it, and then I'm making sure everything is in the center like before. And then this was my line a day. I actually messed this up originally. I accidentally ungrouped the blank dot grid paper that I run behind this, so I just have a dot grid. I'll link it in my description. I just found that online for free. It's just like a picture of a dot grid, and I print that behind some of my spreads, and I use some blank pages of dot grid because I like that better for taking notes. It's pretty subtle, but you can still write on it and draw on it a little bit easier than a blank piece of paper. And I accidentally ungrouped all of the dots in using the Silhouette software when I originally did this. So I just went back and redid the line a day one, and then grabbed the dot grid from the dashboard one and just moved that over. So then I was just making sure everything was okay there. I had to, November has one less day than October, so I just took off the 31 and just kind of repositioned everything around that. And then I'm just putting all of the dot grids back on there, and that's what I'm doing now. And then this is the weekly spread. I have this now, and I had written down a lot of notes about things that I wanted to do for the weekly spread, but basically I wanted to make the top sections size to be the same size as like the little square boxes that come in the B6 format style kits. I have a lot of leftover B6 format kits from when I used my ring bound planner, and I would like to be able to use some of those a little bit more easily. So I wanted to make the top section a little bit more bigger for decorating, but and I thought it would be fine to lose a little bit of the functional space, not too much, but just a little bit, because I do often like put washi in the day to just kind of decorate it and out and stuff. So I'm just sizing that down a little and making that like around 1.5 inches, which is the size those boxes are usually, square 1.5 by 1.5. Then because I had resized everything and I wasn't measuring super carefully, I thought it would be easier to use the first half of the week to make the second half of the week rather than resize the second half of the week. So I use the Saturday and Sunday split in one column so that everything fits 6 columns across. So I'm just making those boxes now, and then I'll fix the top part afterwards to to basically do this so that the top box is the same format as what I had before last month with like the little box and the big box, but I just wanted them both to be 1.5. And then I realized that the width was I could either make the width 1.5 or I could make the width bigger. And then I thought it just looked a little bit funny 1.5. So I fixed it to just be bigger. And then if I want to white it out to put a sticker there, I'll just do that. But then in addition to that, I also wanted to do a version of this spread where the columns were all 1.5 width, which is the standard stickering size for, using kits. And it's like you lose a lot of functional space that way. So I'm not sure if I'm going to like this or not, but I wanted to try it out, and I'll probably use sticker kits on the 1.5 size weeks and then maybe use them, or maybe use like the sticker books, which I've been doing a lot lately, like the Michaels sticker books or the Happy Planner sticker books, and use those on the larger size weeks. So we'll see. I'm going to print this every other week, going 1.5 column width and the larger column width. And that's actually what I'm getting set up to do now. I'm getting set up to print all of this. So the way that you print this is the same with any inserts, except for this isn't PDF'd. So I'm just printing them one sheet at a time, and basically you just print every other sheet in order. So like skipping one in between each one, and then I reload the paper, flipped upside down to redo that. And I do just, since this is all black and white, I do just print this on my laser printer, but any printer would work. And if you have dual-sided printing, you can like PDF these. You need like a PDF editor in order to do that. And I've done it before, but it's, especially for stuff that I'm going to change every month, it's not worth it doing it to me. I just spend some time kind of doing it. And all in, I would say this maybe the whole process, including up to like the printing, not the sewing, which we'll get to in a second, probably took me about like 45 minutes to an hour. And then obviously this is way sped up, but yeah, that is what it looks like once it's printed. And I did have a lot of changes this month, so some months it does definitely take me shorter. And then I accidentally, when I typed in Sunday, I put SSUN, so I just whited out the first S so that it looks a little bit more normal, because I did not feel like reprinting it for such a small mistake. Anyway, then I am just trimming these down. I have cut lines that go around the edges of all of them, which I made just using the line tools on the Silhouette software. You could see me moving some of them as I was recentering them. But anyway, basically I just cut these 3 to 4 sheets at a time. This is thicker paper. It is the Accent Opaque 32-pound paper, which I will link in the description below as well. I just get it on Amazon, and I actually just ordered a 40-pound version of the paper, which I'm looking forward to trying out in December. But that is what they look like, and the final step is binding them together. So I'm just setting up some guidelines on where to start and continue sewing using a thumbtack. I just set up some lines to help guide me, and then I go ahead and sew this using a regular needle and thread. The needle does have a really small head so that it doesn't poke too big of holes in the paper, and you really just have to push it through. That's why I have a notebook going underneath to like help guide me. This is obviously super sped up, and I am going to cut some of it out, I think, but it took about 26 minutes, I have the film footage of it, for me to sew this whole binding, which is why I don't love doing this, but it really does make the notebook lie like really nice and flat and just come together really nicely, even if you don't sew in a perfectly straight line, which I never do. Then last up, to finish up, I'm just going to open all of the pages and sort of fold and press them down so everything lays nice and flat as I go through. And that is pretty much it for insert making. Okay, so that is the insert all set up and made. The last thing I have to do is obviously put a cover on it and then pop it in my planner. So I actually made 2 new covers, a front cover and a back cover for it this time. This was kind of my plan all along, was to make pocket ones so that the front sleeves could slip in. I would have filmed this too. I tried to a little bit, but my laminator is like on its very last leg and it was just not going super well, and it took me a minute to figure out how to do the pockets. But I do have these 2 little florals that are from the same paper pack that I have been using in that planner, which was from a Hot Buys at Michaels. So what I'm gonna do is actually just stick, this is gonna be my front cover. So I'm just gonna stick the this front page right in there. And then do the same thing on the back here. This one, unfortunately, I did just print this like this since I had been just gluing the covers on before. So I will have to slide this out when we get to the last week. But honestly, this is the week of Thanksgiving, and I'm planning on using a separate Thanksgiving specific planner because we have such a crazy Thanksgiving schedule going. So I'm gonna need like a lot more space than this to keep track of all the cooking and everything. So I do plan on having that as well. So it won't be a really big deal. And I may just even skip this week in there and just use that special Thanksgiving planner, which I will show you on my Instagram or over here. If you're interested, let me know in the comments below once that is all set up and figured out. But anyways, this is what the insert looks like then. And let me just show you the pages again really quick. We have my dashboard, the monthly calendar, my line a day memory keeping, my blank note page, which I've been using for like these extended lists and really liking, and then my 4 weeks in November weekly spreads, which I did every other, again, with the 1.5 inch columns and the wider columns to see which I kind of like better going. It's always good to do like a couple weeks in something before you decide. So I just ran that every other. But anyway, that is the insert. This is the planner that it goes in. Right now I still have my October inserts in here, but when it's the end of the month, I will just slip those out and then put these in like so. And that will be how that goes in my planner. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this video. I got a lot of questions on how to make inserts, like I said, so I just wanted to give you a little preview of that in this quick little video. Stay tuned because I am gonna do a plan with me in here where I set up all of my stuff for the beginning of the month and then also do a week plan with me. Like at the same time, I'll set up, you know, quickly run through all of the monthly stuff I do in the beginning of the month and then do a weekly plan with me. And that'll probably be my next video. So definitely stay tuned for that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give it a big thumbs up. I'd love it if you'd subscribe and check me out on Instagram at mycraftyplans to keep up with everything going on in my planners. Bye.